session ya. Okay, we will cover chapter 1 and 2 today, but I will focus more to chapter 2 first because they will be covering the most basic item that we need for entire accounting life. And definitely you are going to have exam question mainly for topic 2 also. So let us cover the classification first. Go to page number 7. We have 5 classification in our syllabus, which are asset, liability, EP, hasil, and belanja. Okay, let's talk about the information first. Asset, we can say that it is whatever belonging to the company, including money, including the factory, the shop lot, the lorry, all those items that belongs to the company. We call it as property and we call it as asset in Malay. Okay. The liability, we call it as owing or we call it as debts. So let's say you are supposed to pay that portion of money, but you haven't paid yet, that the owing will be called as liability. Then equity pemilik, okay, I will talk about equity pemilik later. The hasil and belanja. Hasil is whatever item, whatever things that we are going to receive. We call it as income hasil. Belanja is spending for us, whatever we spending out, whatever we giving out, we paying out, we call it as belanja. In English, we call it as expenses. So in short, for expenses, it is referring to whatever we spend or whatever we pay out for. Means when the money is going out, then it will be your belanja. When any money going in, whatever we receive, then we will call it as hasil. Okay. And let's go to details. Asset, we have two subcategories, same for liability as well. But no matter asset or liability, as long as bukan semasa is more than a year or less than a year, as long as it is bukan semasa, it is referring to more than a year or less than a year. Hmm. More than a year or less than a year? Hello. Yes, it is more than a year. Semasa means less than a year. Okay. Now, what mean by asset bukan semasa and asset semasa? Why there's differentiation between more than a year, less than a year? Okay. The example is, let's say you got, first example, you got factory. If you buy a factory, normally it's your own use, right? So are you going to sell out your factory after you purchase it only for maybe less than a year, maybe half a year? Definitely no, because we are going to use it for more than a year. We will keep it for more than a year. That's why the value of that factory in our account will remain the same for more than a year. That will be called it as aset bukan semasa. Okay, then example, kendaraan. Kendaraan are the motor vehicles lah, including the lorry, the bus, the van, the car. Then lengkapan and perabot. Lengkapan, we call it as, wait lengkapan, we call it as fixtures in English. Perabot, we call it as furniture. Then the difference between lengkapan and perabot is furniture, something like your sofa, your table, which are movable. You can move it easily. But if fixtures, it is referring to maybe aircon, kipas, or lampu that once you install, it is, I can say that almost not movable lah. And normally we're going to not going to move it around. So we call it as lengkapan. And next, alatan pejabat, we call it as office equipment. But bear in mind that office equipment is only referring to those items that you need to operate your business. not the aircon, not the fan. It should be the computer, the printer or photostat machine, the machine that you need to operate to prepare your report, prepare your accounts, calculate the money for your company. So don't get confused between lengkapan and alatan pejabat, yeah. Okay. Premise, we call it as building for the company, including the office pejabat and also factory. Then machine jentera, is similar but somehow different because machine are those smaller size and easiest for us to learn how to operate it. Let's say sewing machine. You can refer to the manual or refer to the YouTube video. They will be able to use the machine to sew your clothes already. But let's say if a big crane, those machine that you use to uh, combine the cement, mix the mixture of cement, those we call it as bigger machine. We call it as genderer. And it's not that easier for us to work on it. We need to attend maybe small course or maybe get some license to use to know how to operate the genderer also. Okay, so that's all the example for FPS. But most of it, not most of it, all of it sounds like something that we will keep it for more than a year because mainly it is for our own use in the company. Okay. Then next, assets and muscle. Assets and muscle are those property that we will keep it for less than a year. Let's say your product. Are you going to keep your product in your warehouse for more than a year? No, you definitely will wish to sell it as soon as possible, right? So you will keep it for less than a year. That's why it will be assets and muscle. And some more, since you keep it for less than a year, you're going to have a lot of transaction. You're going to buy in, sell out very, very frequently. So the value of inventory keep in your office will change very frequently within a year. So that's why we call it as assets and muscle lah. Okay, then the next one, count volume terima. This is the important one. And some of the students still get confused because of it. Okay, we explain it slowly. Yeah. Okay, account belum terima. Terima is referring to pay or receive money. Terima means pay or receive money. Terima means hmm, terima means pay or receive money. Hello, you hear me? Terima here is referring to pay or receive money. Receive. Okay, if you receive money, that means you are selling or you are buying. If you receive money, that means you are selling, right? So that mentioned here, account belum terima means you sell your product, but yet to receive money. Okay. But why consider as asset? Because when you sell your item, definitely you're going to receive the money, right? Then if you haven't collected back the money yet, it sounds like you keep your money temporarily with your customer first, and then you're going to collect it back very soon in future. So isn't it sounds like similar as you keep your money in bank and you're going to collect it back to use later? Similar, right? It's just that if you have bank, that means you keep your money in the bank. If you have FBT, that means you keep your money with your customer. So it is still our money lah. That means it is asset lah. But why asset semasa? Why less than a year? Because are you going to collect back the money after a year? Are you going to wait until after a year then only collect back the money? No. You will also worry that the customer might hilang already. Then you will have your money gone. That's why we are going to collect back the money within a year, less than a year, very soon. That's why asset semasa lah. Then deposit. We also call it as something like booking fee. The example, if you want to buy a house, let's say if you buy a house which is not ready yet, still in construction, then how you're going to lock your unit? You will need to pay the booking fee, make a queue that, make a contract that, yes, I want to buy this. So you keep this for me. You hold this for me by paying the booking fee. Then once the house is ready, then you will need to start to pay installment. So when everything is ready and you're going to start to pay your installment, then you can get back your booking fee. So also sounds like your money keep with somebody else. Then you're going to collect back your money once you got your own item already. So that's why it is asset lah. But why semasa? Because normally we won't wait for the item for more than a year. If we wait for more than a year, then you got other choice already mah. Why you need to start there, right? So it will be asset semasa. Then next pelaburan, we call it as investment. If you invest money in anything, is it still your money? Yes. If you invest and lose your money, why you want to invest again, right? So if you invest money to anyone else or anybody else or anything else, actually you keep your money with somewhere else hoping to get more profit in return. That's why it is our asset lah. But why is a master? Because if you invest, you wish to get reward, right? You wish to get return, right? And minimum, we will have dividend, we will have a return at least one time a year. Means every year we will also got changes on the value of investment. That's why pelaburan is asset semasa because the value of your investment will change very frequently in a year and at least change one time per year, which is less than a year already lah. Okay. And next, bank tunai ringgit. This one is quite easy to understand. All other cash, all the money is either you keep your cash in the bank, or you keep your cash in the office, or you keep the small petty cash in the office. So still belongs to the company, right? That's why it is asset lah. But why semasa? Because is it possible for your money in the bank, your cash will remain the same for more than a year? Definitely no, right? Because on and off, you will have very frequent transaction to pay and receive money. Not a year, not a month, even maybe every second if you're running a big company. So how can you make your bank tunai ringgit value remain the same for more than a year? No, that's why it is asset semasa lah. Then the difference is, if you keep your money in the bank, we call it as bank law. Okay, then what's the difference between tunai and tunai ringgit? Tunai are those big money. Let's say if you want to pay salary to your workers, it should be at least 1,000, right? 1,000 plus, right? We call it as tunai, those big money. But if you want to buy eraser, maybe just 1 ringgit 50 cent. So we will group all those small expenses become ringgit. We call it as petty cash. Okay. So these are the asset example. Then next move to liability. Liability also bukan semasa. This one should be easier to understand because just now we mentioned bukan semasa is more than a year. Semasa means less than a year. And liability is debts, right? If you got when you got debts, that means you are going to pay money in future. It's either you take more than a year to pay or less than a year to pay. Then let's say if you borrow money from bank, normally you want to borrow big amount or small amount. Should be big amount, then you only go to the bank because bank will be the only one can borrow you the big money. Other person cannot. Your friends, your cousin, your family also cannot. That's why we go to bank lah. Okay, if you borrow big amount of money, liability lah, because you borrow money, you're going to pay in future, ma, it's a debt already, ma. But since you borrow big money, is it possible for you to repay it within 1 year? No, right? definitely you're going to take more than a year to pay for it. That's why it is liability bukan semasa. We call this as pinjaman bank. Okay. Just now is the normal bank borrowing. That means you take your report, you take your balance sheet, you take your record, go to the bank, apply for the loan. Once they are verify everything, everything seems good, everything seems you got the ability to earn money and pay back in future, then they will just approve the loan and borrow money to you. But if your record, your report showing that you are not performing well, how the bank will borrow money to you? Nobody will borrow money to you if there's a risk that they are not going to collect back the money back in future, right? So if you want to borrow money from bank, if you are having a bad performance, then how? The bank will hold something valuable for you first. That means, let's say if you want to borrow 20 ringgit from me, I also scared that I cannot collect back my own money. So in order to keep you not hilang, I keep maybe your phone or keep maybe your something of you. I keep it something that important to you with me first until you repay back all the debts. Then I can only return the item to you. So that's my way to keep me safe, can get back the money lah. So same for bank as well. If you if you didn't performing well according to the record, you still can borrow money from bank, but we call it as gadai janji. The bank will hold something valuable with the bank first until you clear all your debts, then only return the item to you. Okay, that's all the example for liability bukan semasa. Now let's go to liability semasa. We saw something similar, right? Something familiar, right? We discussed about account belum terima just now, and we see account belum bayar now. Okay, don't get confused, Okay, do the same thing. Bayar means we pay or receive money. Bayar means pay or receive money. Pay. You pay, that means you buy to pay or you sell to pay. You buy to pay. That means you buy, haven't paid. That's why we call it as account belum bayar. Okay, then why it is liability? Because you are supposed to pay, but you haven't paid. That means it's your debts that you should pay in future very soon. So it is liability lah. But why very soon? Why semasa? Why we need to pay less than a year? Same scenario mah. Supplier also won't allow us to pay after a year. They will also scared that they cannot get back the money in future also. That's why it is liability semasa. Then next example, overdraft bank. Normally I will call it as negative bank account balance. So let's say we got bank balance 5,000. So seems like I got money. So I buy maybe iPhone. I buy iPhone maybe in April. Maybe just exactly 5,000 lah. So I got enough money to pay, right? But let's say next month, okay, I buy, but I haven't paid yet first. Okay, then I agree to pay maybe next month, maybe in May. Okay, I supposed to pay 5,000 in May, right? But unfortunately, there's a tariff. There's a tariff imposed by Donald Trump. So ended up, I have to pay 5,500 to get my iPhone. Do we have enough money to pay? Seems like not, right? But the bank still allow you to pay for it first. That means you need to pay extra 500. But is it 500 balance belong to us? Is it money that belongs to us? No. It will cause our bank account become negative because originally we only got 5,000. So when our bank account have negative balance, That means we actually borrow this amount of money from the bank temporarily. And when we borrow money, we are going to repay in future lah. That's why it is liability. But why semasa? And then common sense issue. Do you think that will the bank borrow us the overdraft bank for a huge value of money? Definitely no. If you need big money from the bank, they will need to check your record because there's a chances they will lose a big money already. So they only allow us to have overdraft bank for a small value of money. And since it is small value of money, it's not possible for you to take more than a year to repay for it, right? So that must mean that must be paid very soon. And some more, the bank will charge very high interest to push us to pay very soon. That's why it is liability semester to pay within a year. Okay, that's all liability. Then go to EP. Okay, for EP, you need to memorize a little bit. Okay, then for EP in our syllabus, we have only 4 terms for EP. Okay, let's try whether you can memorize. You can remember. When the boss bring in item, how we call it? Yes, modal. So means if you see any terms, any sentence meaning for membawa masuk, then that means it is modal. Definitely related to modal already. But in opposite way, when the boss take out for personal use, how we call it? Ambilan. But remember, ambilan is only limited ambil untuk kegunaan peribadi only. Peribadi including for the kid use, for the wife use, for the friends use. But if I give you another example, if take out item for derma only without mentioning it is derma peribadi or derma syarikat, derma perniagaan, then can we consider it as ambulan? Can we consider it as personal use? If derma only, can we consider it as personal use? No. If they never mention clearly it is peribadi usage, that means we will consider it as perniagaan usage. Then we cannot consider it as ambulan already lah, because ambulan can only referring to personal use mah. Okay, then next example. How about iklan? Iklan means advertisement. The boss need to do advertisement for his own use. No, only company need to do advertisement to promote their product, right? So can we consider iklan as ambulan? Also cannot lah. So in short, when you see take out, you need to double check whether is it for personal use or not. If yes, then we can only consider it as ambulan. If no, or they didn't mention it clearly, normally we should be considered as syarikat or perniagaan usage already. Then we cannot use ambulan. Okay, then one more point for ambulan. Ambulan is EP, right? But when the boss take whatever out from the company, your EP, your balance left in the company, the fund to run the company will add a minus. It will minus. So remember, umbrella always and must minus EP. This one bear in mind. Okay, then two more. When the company making profit, we call it as untung bersih. When the company is making losses, it is rugi bersih. So all these are the 4 items for equity pemilik. Okay, so remember this. You need to memorize this. Because we are going to have maybe just a small quiz later. Just a verbal quiz lah, to check whether you can remember the 4 terms of modal or not. 4 terms of EP or not. Then for the 3 main, and 2 more, hasil and belanja. Okay, hasil belanja, I have already briefed you how are we going to differentiate it, right? So I'm not going to go through the every single example here. I will go through by using few examples that I think of, which I consider is the main one lah. Okay, testing ah. Let's say if I buy product, we call it as bullion. If you buy product, that means you need to spend money or receive money. If I buy product, I need to spend money. Since spending, then hasil belanja. Belanja. Okay, next example. If I have some saving in the bank account, we call it as simpanan tetap normally lah. If I keep my money, save money in the bank, am I going to pay or receive money? I will receive the interest fee, right? Because I save the money in the bank. The bank will encourage me to save more. So they will pay us faedah, they will pay us interest fee in return. So that means faedah simpanan tetap will be hasil belanja. Hasil because we receive the interest mah. Then let's say discount diberi. Let's see whether you can guess it. Discount diberi. When we see the keyword diberi, that means something that you give out. Yes, it will be belanja. Okay, then that's all recap for the classifikasi. Okay, then the first part of chapter 2. Let us go to second part, persamaan account. Because for sure you will have this question in your exam, coming exam midterm, and also in final exam, which is worth for quite much of marks. I can say in midterm at least 25 marks. It will be in kertas dua, one whole question. Kertas dua got totally 5 questions. You need to do 4, right? Then persamaan account in midterm, it will consist of 1 question. At least 1 question in kertas dua. Okay, then let's say persamaan account. For persamaan account, I will break it into 3 parts. Formula, jadual, and PKK. Let's break it down one by one. Okay, formula. Normally, teacher don't encourage to memorize that because you got too much of subject to memorize things already, right? So normally, I will try to explain everything by using example or the logic that you can relate to. So easier for you to remember the theory and also the format also. Okay. So the first formula here, asset equals to liability plus equity per million. Okay. Let me explain by using one example. Let's say if you want to buy a factory, factory is your property, so we call it as asset. Okay, you want to buy kilang. And when you want to buy kilang, definitely you need money, right? Then how you get the money? Okay, it's either you borrow money. If borrow money, it will be contributing to our debts already, right? Then liability lah. Yes, we definitely can buy by using bank, but let's say kilang, very big factory, normally worth for millions. So are you going to cash buy it? Are you going to buy the kilang by paying a lump sum of cash, millions of cash? No. So normally we're not going to take bank to buy big item, let's say the big asset, kilang lah. So we got first option, borrow money. Or second option, we call it as equity per million because just now, what call when the boss bring in money? What we call for boss bringing in money? Modal. And modal is under equity per million, right? And when the boss bring in money to the company, isn't it we got the money to buy the kilang already? That's right. Okay. Then if the company make profit, company also got money to buy the kilang also, right? Then how we call it? When the company make profit, we call it as untung per se. And also it is EP. So that's the second way for us to get money to buy our accept also lah. Okay, then take this chance to recap for the 4 item of EP. Yeah. Okay, just now we cover for bringing in. How about taking up? Pick up for personal use. We call it as yes, ambilan. The opposite of untung bersih. Untung bersih means we make profit, right? How about make losses? We call this as rugi bersih. Okay. Okay. Then that's all how we can define the formula. Okay. And before we go to the jadual second part, let us go through some important theory first, like important concept first. Okay. We got two different terms, two special terms, which are secara tunai and secara credit. Okay. One is money done, pay done, cash buy, cash sales. Another one is you buy haven't pay or you sell haven't received the money yet. How are we going to differentiate? Remember the tunai. Tunai means cash, right? If you got cash here, that means you pay cash on the spot or you receive money on the spot. Okay. So if it is a secara tunai, that means we pay or receive money immediately. Then how about secara credit? That means have you paid? If you have something secara credit, have you paid money? Have you received money? Should be not yet lah. No money done yet. No payment done yet at all. So close your eyes. Listen to me. Okay. When we have menjual secara credit, that means we sell, have we received money? If menjual secara credit, that means we sell, but have we received the money? Not yet. So how we call it? Account balloon. Account balloon. Huh? You menjual secara credit or if you sell, you are going to pay or receive the money. Yes, you are supposed to receive the money, right? So we call it as account balloon terima. Yeah, then close your eyes again. If you have membeli secara credit, that means you buy, have you pay? Not yet also. Then how we call it? Account balloon bayar, yes. So do step by step, then you will get master of it already. Okay, then we can proceed to persamaan account lah. Okay, persamaan account is a table. Okay, sometimes the question need us to prepare the table by our own. Sometimes no, sometimes given by the question, depending on the question lah. Okay, then the format of the jadual, I will discuss about it later. And also the PKK. I will straight away demo by using the question. So now let us go to the question in page 11. In page 11 here, whenever you get any question, no matter what topic is it, no matter what subject is it, the first thing is double check, double confirm what we are going to do for our answer first. To save your time, to avoid for any error, avoid any wastage of time. Okay, then double check here. Part A, they need us to prepare jadual persamaan breakout net. This is a table for us, and someone that prepared the table for us already. Then fine lah, good lah. We don't need to prepare, don't need to memorize the formula by our own. But I will show you what's the logic later. Then once you have done the persamaan account, you will know what is the jumlah for perabot, what is the jumlah for kenderaan, what is the jumlah for bank. Okay, then we have to compile it into a report we call the SPKK. But why we don't just show the table to the boss? Because is it possible for the boss to take time to study every single transaction? How much is the transaction? Is it possible? No. Boss got a lot of things to do. They will need to make more big decisions. So the boss We will not look at every single transaction. That will only read on the compile report, the final report. We call it as PKK. Okay. Now let's look a little bit at the format of the table first. Let us brief you a little bit first. The first row of the table must be the formula that we referred just now. It must be asset equals to liability plus equity per million. Okay, then second row, it will be the accounts affected by the transaction when you read through the questions. But don't need to memorize this row because it will be different across the question because different question will affect different account. If the question is affecting parabol, then you record here parabol lah. If there's no parabol affected, then don't need to prepare column for parabol. Okay, then the third column will be the currency. Normally in Malaysia, we are going to prepare account for Malaysia, a company lah. So we're going to calculate money in RM. Then the blank space here, all for us to fill in the transaction, whether it is affecting the account, add or minus every single one. Okay, but before we go through the question, let me give you some tricks first. Okay. Normally, if I get any table for persamaan account, I will do one more thing. I will draw a line to separate a set from the rest. Because according to the format, according to the formula, a set must be equals to liability plus equity per minute. So isn't it, we need to make sure left hand side should be equals to the right hand side. So I will draw a line here because it will be very helpful for me to eyeball very fast whether left hand side equals to right hand side or not. And also one more very important point is at the end you need to make sure left hand side total, right hand side total should be exactly the same, right? But don't do everything, then only check the last whether it's the same. My tips is when you go through every single transaction, you also need to double check whether both sides are exactly the same before you proceed to the next transaction. Because if you make sure every line is exactly the same already, then at the end, you should be able to get the same. But if otherwise, another way, if you only check it at the last step, then only realize both theta are different. Then how? You need to check one by one to see which is the one went wrong. Then you need to revise it. You need to do rectification. You need to do correction. It should be taking so much time already. So it will be easier for us to double confirm every single transaction before you proceed to the next. Okay, so this is my first trick. And second trick, here we got asset, liability, and also equity per minute. Then where does the hasil belanja go? Okay, see, anyone of you can remember whenever you learn it or not? Where should we record hasil belanja if we found any? Which is the column should we record the hasil belanja whenever we find any hasil belanja from the question? Which is the question? Yes, untung per se. Because by using common sense way, how you know how much is the profit? You should take your income, the money that you receive, minus your expenses, the money that you spend outright. So whenever you got any hasil belanja, put it into untung per se column. Then when you got hasil will increase or decrease your untung. When you got income, it should increase your untung, right? Increase the profit, right? Yes. So when you see any hasil, put into your untung per se by adding it. If you got belanja, then how? Minus, because it will decrease your untung, it will reduce your profit. So how you get your untung per se? Basically take hasil minus belanja. So now you got the home for hasil and belanja also. Okay, then the last tricks, ambilan. Okay, just now we mentioned ambilan is always add or minus EP. And that means the boss take out item from the company, right? Yes, the fund in the company will reduce definitely. So it's going to minus EP definitely. But the whole table here, whenever minus, we can put everything in bracket to show it is to minus, except for umbrella because of the weird syllabus. It's okay, it's fine. So bear in mind that don't write the bracket sign, don't write the minus sign in underline column, but you will worry that you scared that you forget to minus it. It's okay. You will get marks reduced when you put bracket in the table, right? It's okay. You can put it in the header. They cannot reduce your mark. So you can make a big minus sign in ambilan header here to remind you to do calculation by minus it later when you get the total. Okay? How if there is ambilan in the question, but there's no ambilan column given by the question? Then how? It's fine. EP got totally 4 terms, right? Okay, wait. Let me explain. EP just now we mentioned only got 4 terms, right? Modal, ambilan, untuk bersih, rugi bersih. And if I got ambilan value, but there's no ambilan column, it must go into EP column, right? No matter how, because it is under classification EP. Hey, so you got 3 left. Modal, untung bersih, one more rugi bersih hidden here. But what's the point? We still need to record rugi bersih here. Because if you got untung bersih negative value, isn't it meaning for rugi bersih already? Right? So that means, do we still need to prepare column for rugi bersih? No need. So now, out of the 3 left, you only got 2 left, modal and untung bersih. So if you don't have ambilan column, but you have the value, then it is either 2 lah. Then let's think about untung bersih first. Untung bersih, just now we mentioned, it is to record hasil and belanja. Can ambilan consider as hasil? Can we consider ambilan as income? No, so cannot. Can we consider ambilan that money that we spent out? The boss only taking out the money temporarily and maybe he will return the money, right? So we are not spending the money out, right? So it cannot be considered as belanja. So can we record ambilan into untung bersih column? No lah. Then last choice modal lah. Then can we record bracket or minus sign in modal column? Can or not? Cannot. Can. Every column, all the column can put in the bracket sign, except for umbrella only. So if you got umbrella column, don't put any bracket here. But if you don't have any umbrella column, no choice, you have to put it into account model, then do it as usual. Put the bracket in. Okay. Everything clear? So now let us go through the question. Okay. Encik Daud memulakan perniagaan. Okay, they mentioned he start a company. Can we start a company without anything there? Cannot be, right? You need at least money. You need something to start a company, right? But if a new company, there's no item left in the company, then how? The boss need to bring in lah. Need to bring in item to the company. Then we can only got the item to start the company. Then heard the key point, right? The boss bring in item to the company. So when we see it is memulakan perniagaan new business, definitely affecting account. What account is it? No, not ABB. Listen to me. We are starting up a company. And we cannot start a company without anything. So the boss need to bring in item to start the business. So whenever bring in, that means account. We mentioned about it for a few times just now. Yes, modal. So whenever you see memulakan perniagaan, definitely affecting account modal. But do you see any modal given in the list here? No, right? It's okay. We can top up. We can add on. So add modal by our own. Definitely modal lah, huh? Okay, then continue. We start a business on 1st Jan 2012 by bringing in asset. Yeah, some more dimension here bring in emphasize for you already. So definitely affecting modal lah. And then bring in all the asset here. Okay, that means perabot, kendaraan, tunai di bank, all are asset. Okay, so these are all the items brought in by the boss. So how much in the is the total for the model? These are everything he brought in. How much in total he bring in as the model? Total all lah. How much? Yes, 52,000. Okay, this one is by using common sense way, yeah. But better for us to double check by using the formula. What formula is it? We learned one formula just now only, which is asset equals to liability plus equity per minute. And according to what he mentioned just now, all these asset all total are 52,000, right? Okay, and there's no liability, it's fine. Maybe he haven't borrowed money yet lah. And according to the formula, asset must be equal to liability plus equity per minute. If you got zero in liability, that means your EP model should be exactly the same, 52,000. Okay, so now let us fill in this value into the accounts accordingly. After you fill in, is it the same for left and right hand side? Is it? Is it the same? Yes, definitely yes. Because how we got the 52,000? Total up all the three, right? Okay, so this one, we double check there. Is left hand side, credit side the same. So we can proceed to the next one. So let's proceed to the first transaction here. Okay. The most common question that the student face will be they don't know how to understand the question and don't know how to identify the accounts and the impact. So my tips is break down the sentence if it is too long. So first sentence here, membeli barang niaga. Okay, break it down first. When we see membeli, if we buy, we are supposed to pay or receive money. Pay. Then let's check. Have we paid? They mentioned secara credit. That means have we paid? Not yet, right? How we call the account? If we buy haven't paid, yes, account belum bayar. So think about belum bayar value add or minus. If you buy haven't paid, the amount that you belum bayar, yes, add increase by 3,500. Okay, but at least you need to record twice to make sure debit, credit, the left hand side, right hand side exactly the same, right? Okay, and let's see what he's buying. He's buying barang niaga. When we see barang niaga means yes, our product, it will be inventory. If you buy your inventory add a minus, your product will increase. So increase by 3,500 also. Okay, put it there in the table. Inventory increased by 3,500. Then account belum bayar increased by 3,500. And very obviously, both side also equals to positive 3,500. Yes. Okay, continue. Next one. Membayar sewa dengan cek. Okay, let's see. Membayar sewa. Let me see membayar. When we pay for something else, sounds like hasil belanja. No, no ABB. ABB is when you buy product you haven't paid. They didn't mention we buy things. No. Membayar sewa. Let's think about bayar first. When we pay, hasil belanja. Belanja. Okay. And let's say belanja, you got a lot of expenses. Maybe you got electricity fee. you got rental fee, you got discount given. You buy product, you also need to spend money. So we got different type of belanja. But let's think about it. If we combine all the expenses into one account, then one day the boss asks us, how much is the rental fee have you paid? Can you tell him in 1 second immediately? No. Then what are we going to do? We're going to flip the whole belanja account, find the saver, then add up in front of him. Is it possible? No, you will get fired because you are wasting the boss money. That means every belanja will have individual account. Then for this question, your buyer saver, you pay rental fee. So you have an account called as account saver to recognize the balance the money that you pay for saver. But that one is applied for the following chapter, not this chapter yet. Because imagine if you got 20 belanja here, do you have enough space to put it here? No, not enough space at all. So that's why we will group all the hasil belanja into untung per se column because this is not account yet. It is just a high level calculation only. And I tell you the answer just now already, right? Okay. Buyer pay for something else, it is belanja. But do we have space to record belanja? Where should we record the belanja? Yes, untung per se. And belanja will cause your untung per se, your profit add or minus. Yes, minus. So minus untung per se, 600. So settle for the first account lah. Then continue. Then mention dengan check. When you use a check to pay money, that means you pay your money by using bank. Yes. So second account, bank. After you pay money, your bank money will add or minus. It will minus. So minus by 600 also. Okay, because bank minus 600. Then untung bersih also minus 600. And also seems like both sides also minus 600 lah. Okay, then correct. Number 3. Jual barang negara. Okay, stop first. Jual. When we sell, we are supposed to pay or receive money. Receive. But double check. Double check the sentence roughly, yeah. Have you received money? Have we? No, because they mentioned secara credit already. So when you sell but you haven't received the money, account. Yes, belum terima. So now you sell but you haven't received money. Think about the money of belum terima, the money that you haven't received, add or minus. Add. Add by how much? You sell your product worth for 8,000, but you sell it at 1,900. You should record the money that you are going to receive, right? So you're going to add ABT 1,900. Okay. Also need to find another account. What you're selling? Barang niaga again. So account inventory. And after you sell your product will add a minus. Minus. How much you minus your inventory? How much is it? 800. Why? Why not it is 1,900? Because seller will always calculate the value of their product by using the original cost, the production cost only. Because they are going to calculate for the profit later, not now. So we need to minus the original cost of our product. Okay, although the value is not the same, it's fine. Put it there in the table first. ABT at 1,900. Inventory minus 800. And obviously there's a difference, right? How much is the difference? How much is the difference between these two? 1,100. Then let's think about it. You sell your inventory at a higher price or lower price. Higher price. If you sell it at a higher price, that means you got profit or loss. Profit. Then where should it go? Yes, untung bersih 1,100. Sounds easier, right? Okay, and continue next one. Okay, wait on before that. Double check. Left hand side, total equals to 1,100. And we filled it into left right hand side also. So both sides also equals to positive 1,100. Okay, done. Then double check. Next one. Number 4. Buyer ABB. Stop here first. Dimension we pay for ABB. So definitely affecting account ABB lor. Okay, then think about it. Now you have paid money for ABB. So your ABB, yes, because the money that you haven't paid will reduce. Reduce by how much? Let's see how much you pay for. You pay for 2,850 here. Okay, put it here first. 2,850. Then continue. Pay by using check. When we see check means account, bank, add or minus. You pay money, money will minus 2,850. So this one, done. 2,850 recorded both sides. Okay, then only think about discount. We receive discount, so we call it as discount diterima. And whatever receive, hasil belanja. Whatever we receive, hasil belanja. Hasil. Okay, but do we have any space for hasil? Where should we record hasil? Yes, untung bersih. And hasil income will increase the untung bersih. So need to add untung bersih 150. But we also need to record in another side as well, right? Okay, let's think about it. After you receive discount, you're going to pay more or less. Less. So that means your account belum bayar minus by 150 again. Okay. So this is the second part of the question here for the transaction. That means we minus bank at untung bersih, but how much ABB in total that we should minus? No. First time, okay, after you pay, your ABB is getting less for 2,850. After receive discount, your ABB further decreased by 150. So how much in total the ABB has been reduced? Yes. So total, you need to minus ABB by 3,000. Okay, then fill it into the table. ABB minus 3,000. Then bank minus 2,850. And also record the discount diterima in untung bersih column 150. Okay, then double check. Left hand side, negative 2,850. Credit side, is it the same? It's the same for credit side after you combine these two? Yes or no? Yes. Then confirm. Correct. Number 5. Terima check. Stop it here first. Terima check account. Terima check account bank. When we receive check, that means we receive money. Our money in the bank will add or minus? Add. Add by 1,270. Then next account. What are we receiving for? We are receiving from ABT. They mentioned ABT already, so definitely affecting account ABT. But think about it. After receive money, your account belum terima the amount that you haven't received, add or minus? Minus ABT by 1,270. Okay, record. ABT minus 1,270. Bank at 1,270. Okay, look at here. Is it the same for left and right hand side? No, meh? Let's see in left hand side. Positive 1,270. Negative 2,270. So total how much? When you combine these two together for the left hand side, 0. And nothing in right hand side. So both sides exactly the same lah. Okay, next one. Pemilik membawa masuk. What's the account? What's the account? Yes, modal. Modal means the boss bring in item. No matter what is bringing in lah. And your modal will always add or minus. Since the boss bring in, add, add by 3,000. Okay, then continue. Dimension. Bring in tonight. Seems like it should be affecting account tonight, right? Okay, seems like tonight. Put it here. But finish a sentence first. Dimension. Bring in money, but they keep it into the bank. So it's bank or tonight? It should be bank. So change it to bank. And the boss bring in money to the company. So the bank money will add or minus. Bank will add 3,000. Okay, record. Bank add 3,000. Modal increased by 3,000 also. And both side left and right equals to 3,000. Okay, next one. Sekeping check guys. When you see check, account, bank. Diterima, you receive money from bank. Your bank money will add or minus. Your bank money, add. Okay, add by how much? 507. Okay, then continue dimension. How we receive the money? Where we receive it? We receive it from ABT. So definitely second account is ABT. Okay. Then after you receive money from ABT, balance of ABT add or minus? Balance of money that you haven't received minus 507. Okay, this is what we have record. Okay, but dimension telah dipulangkan. The check has been returned by the bank. That means, did we really receive money into our bank account? No, that means whatever we added, we have to take out. That means whatever added, we need to add or minus. Minus. Whatever minus, we need to reverse, become add back. Because why? If the customer pay the check for us, but we ended up cannot use the check, did the customer really pay us the money? Did we really get the money? No, that means the money that you're going to receive in future increase back. You need to increase more back already. That means we need to minus bank at ABT. Okay, so now double check here. Is it the same for left and right? Yes. Okay, continue. Last two. Pemilik telah mengeluarkan, mengeluarkan. Double check. Whenever take out, you need to double check, is it for personal use or not? Yes, right. Because they mentioned peribadi. And yes, it is ambulan. Ambulan always add or minus. Ambulan means take out item from the company. So the fund always minus in the company by 610. Then what he take out? He take out a check. So account, bank, add or minus? Money has been taken out for the company already. So minus 610 also. Record. Bank minus 610. Okay, umbrella also minus 610. But can you record the bracket here in account umbrella column? No, don't put it here. But remember, when you want to calculate the total later, you need to add or minus the umbrella. You need to, yes, when you click on the calculator, remember to minus it. So just imagine there's a transparent bracket here. So it should be the same lah. The last one. Perniagaan telah meminjam daripada bank. When you borrow money from bank, what is the account? How we call the money that we borrow from bank? We call this as, when you borrow from bank, we call it as, yes, it's liability bukan semasa, but liability bukan semasa is klasifikasi. We need a specific accounting. Yes, we call it as pinjaman. When you borrow money from bank, that means you're borrowing at or minus. At increase by 5,000. Okay, then dimension. The money we have keep inside the account bank for the business. Definitely affecting account bank lah. Add or minus. When you borrow money, you will get your money. Add or minus at first. Then you only pay by installment later. So we added pinjaman 5,000. Bank also increased by 5,000. So obviously left hand, right hand the same now. And that's all the transaction. And the next one, we need to total up each of the account to see how much total for each of the account transfer into PKK later. Calculate now. Done? Let me know once done you calculate the total for each of the column. Okay, left hand side equals to 60,540. Can you get the same for the right hand side? Can you get the same for the right here? Then remember when you calculate, ambil add or minus in a calculator. You need to add or minus ambilan in the calculator. You need to minus. Then you can only get the same total. So make sure you get the same total, 60,540 in the right hand side also. Okay? Done na? Okay, then before we move it into PKK, in PKK we need to further classifikasi become bukan semasa or semasa. So let's try whether you can identify the all or not lah. What's the klasifikasi of perabot? S or FBS? Perabot Perabot is under AS or ABS? The perabot here, yes, ABS. Kenderaan, how about kenderaan ABS? Bank, AS. ABT, AS. Inventory, how about inventory? Product in the office. Product of the company. Think about it. Are you going to keep it for more than a year? Not right. So it is asset sama answer. How about account belum bayar? LS or LBS? You buy but you haven't paid yet? Yes, you're going to pay less than a year. Pinjaman? Borrow money from bank? Yes, LBS. Okay, the EP don't need to identify the classification already because we have a sequence of format for it. Okay, before we go to PKK, let us brief you the system Trachtenberg first. Not sure whether you got exam for system Trachtenberg or not. Because I heard some of the school have exam for chapter until chapter number 5. So it's fine. Let us recap first. Let us study first. We have a system called as system catatan bergu to cover asset liability EP hasil belanja in order for us to keep it in either left and right hand side. Okay, because according to system catatan bergu, later or next chapter or following chapter, we are going to prepare accounts in T shape. Our account will be in T shape. That means we split our account into left and right hand side lah. Okay, not sure. Okay, can anyone tell us how we call left hand side? We call the left hand side as debit or credit. We call the left hand side, yes, debit. We call the right hand side credit. But bear in mind that it is not representing any add or minus because debit can add, can be minus. Credit also can be add, can be minus, depending on the scenario, depending on the classification. So debit only representing left hand. Credit only representing right hand side. Okay, then according to system Shaitan Bagu, we have 5 classification here. We only got 2 in the debit side. See anyone can identify which is the one of the 5 classification here? Of the 5 classification, yes. Because my tricks to memorize the system will be 3 sentences here. First sentence, A, B, C, D. Yes. Wow, you attended my class. You're one of my student, right? Okay. A standing for asset. B stands for belanja. D stands for debit. That means only asset belanja in debit. That means the rest hasil, liability, EP will be in credit side. Then easier for us to memorize. Second, when increase, put it into original place or opposite side. When increase, put it in original place or opposite side. Huh? Yeah, me. Increase or you prefer increase or decrease? You should prefer increase, right? Yes, it will be same side, original side. If it's decreased, then only move it into opposite side. Okay, demo by using example. Let's try 1 or 2 only. What is the classification of ambilan? What is the classification of ambilan? EP. But ambilan always calls your EP add or minus. minus. And what is the original place of EP? Credit. Then when decrease, put it into opposite side, right? Then can we still keep it in credit side? No, we need to put it in debit side. Yes. Try one more. What is the classification of ABT? Asset. Semester, right? So by right, it should go to debit or credit? Should go to debit. Okay. How if the sentence mentioned here? Menerima wang daripada ABT. So still back to ABT, which is asset semester, but your ABT will add or minus. After receive money from ABT, your ABT belum terima balance, add or minus. Huh? Why add leh? We are not talking about the money that we receive. We're talking about the belum terima balance. Yes, minus. When asset, it should go to debit side. But whenever decrease, then we need to put it in, yes, credit. That's how the second sentence works. Then number 3, we got two different baki. Baki means balance of money because accountant is going to calculate what's the balance of money end of this period. Then we're going to put it into next month, continue to use it, continue to operate the business. So we call that at baki. But we got two baki. Baki BB, baki HB. Yes. BB is for first day or last day. Then just think about it. You know how to sing the song of ABCD alphabet, right? You will get your B first or H first. B or H come first? B first. So B will be the baki for first day of the period. HB will be for last day of the period. And we prefer to be get the first place, right? So baki BB, original place opposite side. Baki BB, the first one, should go to original place or opposite? Original. If Baki HB should go to opposite side. Yes. Okay, this one will apply for for the entire accounting life. Although when you're studying your account in the degree in the university, yeah. So take the chance to take picture for this. Okay, take picture now. Then taking picture. Then okay, let us do the PKK. Okay, PKK is a report for us to know what's the balance of asset, liability, and also equity per minute last day of the period. Okay, and for PKK, we have actually two format. And in chapter 2, persamaan account, they will only need us to prepare one format, which is penyata format. Not penyata format, bentuk T format. Bentuk T means we can see a T shape here by splitting the account, splitting the report into left and right hand side. Okay, that means sounds like your system pattern very good, right? So let's practice it. We are going to record asset liability and also EP here. Which is the one go to debit? Asset should go to debit or credit. Asset will go to debit. Liability, credit. EP, credit also. Okay, then next thing, asset liability, you got bukan semasa and semasa, right? Bukan semasa means we are going to keep it for more than a year. So the value will not change for more than a year. We call it as more stable lah. So means we should record bukan semasa or semasa first. Sounds like we need to start by Semasa bukan semasa. Huh? If something won't change very frequently, which is more stable, yes, we start by something that more stable that not going to change first because we don't need to change so frequently. We don't need to adjust it so frequently. So leave it there only. So always start by bukan semasa first. Ah. So left hand side, we will start by asset bukan semasa first. And according to the table just now, we have totally two ABS. Then record the total there lah. Okay. Berabot and kenderaan. But when we write the workings, when we do the calculation, a counter always start from the left or the right. Accountants always start the working from left or right. No, accountant prefer right hand side. So whenever you're doing any account, any calculation, you must start your calculation from the right. So you should put the value to the right first. No matter what account is it, no matter what report is it, accountant will prefer right hand side. So put the value to the right because it's the very first thing to record here. And that's all for ABS, right? Then total up to ABS, 40,000. Okay, then the next one will be your asset semasa. And you got three asset semasa here. Then copy and paste the value there lah. But let me ask you, for asset semasa value, we should put to the left or to the right? You got two columns for calculation. Always start from the right. But now you got more than one assessor master. So take a guess. You should put the value to the left or to the right. Hmm? Left. Why? Because let's say imagine if you put every single value to the right, all to the right, when you want to get the total, isn't it by common sense way, by mathematic logic way, we are going to compound all become one total, right? Okay, the value will be still the same, the answer is still the same. But can you tell the boss how much is the asset semester by using this report? Can you? Can you tell the boss? No. So whenever you got more calculation, we always put the calculation working to the left, get all the calculation first, then only put back the answer to the right. Okay, so put the value here. Okay, after list all the assets and answer to the left, then only put back the total to the right. How much is the total for AS? How much total is it? 20,540. Okay, so by this way of presentation, boss will straight away know this is total for Parabot, this is total for ABS, this is total for bank, and this is total for AS. So he won't kacau you lah because he can know every single thing by using the report already. Then last, you need to total up all the asset because nothing left here already. But normally, I will keep a practice that keep few line blanks, then only write the total because I'm not I can't know how long for the right hand side. And we have to keep the total exactly the same line. So to be safe, I keep it at the last lah. Okay, and total of asset Is it 60,540? Yes. Okay. Then go to the right. We have the record liability and equity permulate. And liability is the debt our owing to anybody else. Seems like not good, law. EP is the fund to run the company. So seems like you prefer to show what you have for the company first, EP, or you owe money first. By logical thinking, which one you prefer to show first? The money you have or the money that you owe? EP or liability first? You would prefer to show EP or liability first? EP first. Everybody will prefer to show whatever we have first. Keep the worst thing to the last. So put equity per milliliter, and the format of EP in for equity per milliliter will be starting by modal awal. Okay, modal awal, just grab it from the question here. We got the modal column here. But remember, don't take the very first. We only take the total. Okay, the first one, just forget about it. We want it on last day of the period only, which is the last total. So 52,000. Okay, keep your calculation left or right first. We always start our calculation left or right. Start from there. Huh? Start calculation always from the left or right. Yes, from the right. 55,000. And according to this question in the table, we have untung besar, right? And untung besar will increase your EP, so you need to add untung besar. But better double check whether you got really positive at the end of the total untung besar or not. For this question, yes. So we can conclude it is untung besar. And 650. Add it together here. You got 55,650. Then the next will be ambilan. Always add or minus ambilan. Always minus ambilan. But in the table, we cannot write bracket, but the rest of the report can. So just write minus 610. So we will get 55,040. Then what's the next? What's the next classification? Liability. LBS or LS first? We should cover LS or LBS first. We should cover liability. Semasa bukan semasa first. Yes, liability bukan semasa first. But before that, we forgot about one thing, right? We start our EP by modal awal. Also need to end properly lah. So end by using modal akhir. Then only continue our liability bukan semasa. And in this question, we only got one LBS, right? Which is pinjaman. Okay, put it there first. Pinjaman. Okay. Then my question now is, since you got only one LBS, do you need to spend more workings to find out the total value of LBS? Yes or no? No. If there's no working, then how? Still keep it to the right. So the concept is whenever you got extra calculation, then only move to the left. If no, then keep it to the right. Okay, sorry Teachers pinjaman bank got extra 1 O yeah, okay. And continue the last one. Liability semasa. You also got only one liability semasa according to the table, right? Which is the ABB. So ABB value, keep to the left or right? Yes. Keep it to the right because that's the only one LS. No need to prepare any calculation for LS. It is the LS already. So put it here. That's all right. Then total up all the three values to see whether you get the same total or not. But reminder, very important notes. Warning, don't copy and paste exactly the same, Cannot copy and paste because if let's say you put anything wrong here, if you put anything wrong in jadwal, if you copy and paste the same thing, means you copy and paste the wrong thing lah. So better for us, and you must double check by using the calculator one more time to see whether you manage to get the same total or not. Okay, So what is the total? Is it the same? Double check by using a calculator? Yes, it's exactly the same. 60,540. Okay, then that's all for the question lah. Hmm. Is it clearer? Is it better after this question? Do you feel better? Do you feel more confident? Okay. Then that's all for chapter 2. For chapter 2, we don't have enough time to cover the format for upper PKK. It's fine. I can let you take picture for the extra note for the explanation of upper later. Okay. So now let us go to chapter 1 to focus on the Andayan prinsip batasan because definitely you will have full question of it in midterm question. Right. Go to page 6. Page number 6. Okay, we got 4 andayan here. Andayan means assumption, means when you are running any business, you will need to assume you're going to do something like this. For this part, I'm not going to go through it. I will not prefer to go through the sentence. If that's the way, then you can read it by your own also, my right? So normally, I would prefer to explain the theory by using the simple example that you can relate, you can understand. So it'll be helpful for you to understand and remember what it's telling. Maybe I will highlight some keyword for you lah, if there's any lah. Then the first one, Andayan prinsip accountant is entity berasingan. Asing means you need to split. Okay, example, will you record the boss personal bank account money into company account? No, Okay, then are you going to record company's van into boss personal account? Also no, because according to the accounting rules, we need to split the boss from the company very, very clear. That means boss will have his own property, his own asset liability. Company will have their own property, asset, and also liability. So you cannot mix everything together. Means boss, it's not company. There's totally two different entity. So if you see any example for the question that mentioned a scenario, we are not going to record the boss house into the company account, then your answer must be entity berasingan, no? So that's how we can understand the sentence given by the question and then figure out which is the answer for us. Okay? Then the next one, wang sebagai ukuran. Accountant is the one prepare the accounts, right? And accountant is going to calculate money, right? Then what is the unit measurement of of money? Currency lah. So if you look at the question, they mention any keywords, they mention RM, they mention any cent, or they mention any nilai mata wang, money currency as your unit measurement, then your answer must be wang sebagai ukuran. Okay, then the next one, usaha berterusan. Berterusan, the keyword is terus. Terus means continue. What mean by continue? Okay, common sense understanding. Why you run a business? Because you want profit, my right? Let's say if you run a business, small business for 3 months and you earn some money, are you going to stop it? Are you going to start a business? No, you're going to continue, right? Okay, so maybe you continue for another 1 year, still earning money. Are you going to continue? Yes, definitely you're going to continue lah. So the concept here is usaha berterusan is going to assume us we will continue to operate and run the business as long as possible. Then what's the time frame? The minimum time period will be 1 year. Why? You have to run the business for more than a year because remember we got bukan semasa just now. Definitely we have property keep more than 1 year, right? If you shut down the company, how you keep the asset for more than a year? So minimum business period will be a year. So if you see the question mentioning the keyword terus beroperasi, you got keyword 1 tahun, then will be answer usaha berterusan. Okay, then the next one, tempo perakaunan. Tempo means time frame. We call this as accounting period. What mean by accounting period? Let's say, if I continue to run my business because I earn profit, let's say I have running my business for 3 years already here, from 2025 until 2028. Okay, I run a business for 3 years here, but am I going to prepare account for 3 years? Yes or no? Means, am I going to wait until 2018, then only prepare account one lump sum for 3 years? Am I doing so? No. If you're doing so, it'll be too tiring. Maybe some of the document lose track already. You hilangkan already. Then how? So although we are going to have longer business life, operate for more than a year or maybe 10 years or more, but we are going to prepare account at least once a year. At least once a year. Then most frequent, 3 months once. We call it as uh, every quarter. So if you look at the question mentioning a scenario mentioned there, keyword, we're going to split the account in 1 year, okay, into half a year, setengah tahun, or into suku tahun. Suku tahun means quarter, or we call it as 3 months. Then your answer will be tempo per account. Okay. So can you imagine how you are going to answer the question already? Is it easier for you to tackle the question by identifying the scenario? Okay. Okay, then continue. We got another 3 principle accountant. Principle means this is the law that you need to follow lah. And the first one, ketekalan. Ketekalan means consist. In layman term, that means we are going to use same method. In Malay, there will be a key point in the question that they're going to use the kaedah yang sama. What mean by kaedah yang sama? We have learned PKK bentuk T just now when doing persamaan account question, right? And we are going to leave a set bukan semasa in left, and then followed by asset semasa. Then followed by credit side, EP, then LBS, followed by LS, right? Okay, this is the first format that we have learned just now. We have actually another format also. We call it as Bernyata format, where we are going to write everything the same. It's just that we need to rearrange the sequence only. It will start by ABS, AS, then minus LS to get the first total here first. Then only start by EP, LBS to get the second total. But no matter which way you're going to prepare your report, the answer will be exactly the same. The outcome will be exactly the same. The only difference is only how you present your format only. Then let's say, can I suka-suka hati use the first way for this year? Then next year, I change my mode. I want to use the second way. And then third year, I use back the first way. Can I do so? No. Why? It will be very confusing. Let's say if you want to find the LS, Okay. First year, you need to look through the format. Yes, I finally find it here. So then the next year, when I want to find for LS, then I need to look through the entire report again because it changed location already. So it'll be some time wasted just to look for the value of liability. So is it worth? No. So in order for us to make our work easier, we are going to have to use the same method for any calculation, for any report presentation way also. So if you look at the question, there's a key point there. Kaedah yang sama, then your answer must be ketekalan. Okay, the next one, principal cost. Cost here is referring to purchase price. Okay, let's say have you ever heard about car market value drop? Okay, let's say you bought a car today, 2025, spend 50,000. Then this 50,000 will be our purchasing price. This is the one. Okay, purchasing price. Then you use it and you keep it for 5 years. Sorry, for 3 years. And 5 years later, definitely the condition of the car will drop, right? Because maybe tire rosak already, punctured already, or maybe the battery broken already, or maybe you run into accident, kemek already. So is it possible for you to sell the car at the original price? Definitely no lah. And some more, although the condition of the car is still perfect, but isn't it got more new model, got latest model already? So why not the people just buy the new model, right? So that means when you sell your car, definitely the value will drop. So maybe it drop become 35,000 3 years later. Okay, yes, we know that. But no matter how, according to accounting rules, we must record the original price. Record it as principal cost. Then how the question will ask us? The question will give us a scenario. This year, I buy my asset at 100,000. 5 years later, the market value drop until 50,000, but I will keep my account to record at 100,000 at the original price. So if you see some scenario like this, your answer will be principal cost. Okay. And the last principle, pengiktirafan hasil dan belanja. Let me explain the theory first. Okay, let's say example, if we rent a shop, monthly rental fee 1,000 per month. How much should I pay in a year? If I rent a shop with monthly rental 1,000, how much should I pay in total for a year? Yes, 12,000. 1,000 times 12. So full amount 1 year you need to pay 12,000, right? Okay. But in real life, we might pay too much or too less. Let's say first scenario, sudah bayar, we are already paid for 10,000 only. That means we paid too much or too less. We paid too much or too less. Too less. But what is the amount that we should pay initially? 12,000, right? So according to the accounting rules, we should always pay the actual amount that we're supposed to pay. We call it as sebenar. So we need to record 12,000. Okay, that another scenario. If we paid 14,000, that means we paid too much, right? But still need to record how much? Still need to record 12,000. Still need to record the actual amount. That will be the meaning for pengiktirafan hasil dan belanja lah. Okay, that is the meaning. That's the logic how we understand it. And this is the logic that we need to use across the entire accounting life. And some more, we have a separate topic number 8, to see how we are going to record it. So this logic very important for you to understand. Okay, then how will the question ask us? The question asks us, ini berapa, ini jumlah hasil and belanja, and we found that got belum bayar how much, got paid too much. But no matter how, we are going to record the full actual amount. They will be giving us a scenario something like this. But easier way for us to tackle the question will be you find the key terms of hasil belanja, because only this scenario will tell us the keyword hasil belanja. So your answer will be straight away pengiktirafan hasil dan belanja lah. Okay. Then the last, batasan perakaunan. Okay. Without looking at the terms here, just look at the batasan perakaunan term. Batasan means challenge. What is the only challenge to have your business? Okay, but take a step back. What is the main purpose for you to run a business? You want profit, money, right? And you will hope to get as much profit as possible because people and humans are greedy. So the only challenge to get to run the business will be the profit. The how the question will look like, the question maybe will give you one scenario. The boss want to maximize his profit, and he has two options on hand. First option, expand the existing shop to get more customer. Or second option, open another branch to get more customer. But no matter how, no matter which option he's going to pick, his main focus is to maximize the profit, right? So if you see any scenario, something like this, your answer will be cost manfaat. Okay. That's the explanation for the 8 answer of antaian perakaunan, antaian prinsip, and also batasan. So is it helpful? Is this kind of explanation helpful? Yes, Okay, and we still got 7 minutes left. Let me cover for one more thing that you might feel it is very difficult for you to memorize. Okay, let's go to page number 4. The badan-badan perakaunan, the headache part, a lot of wordings, a lot of namings, professional namings. How are we going to memorize? Okay, as what I mentioned, I don't like memorize also. So I will try my best to reduce the workload to memorize also. Okay. When you look at the full name of all these badan-badan, very headache, right? Okay, it's okay. Don't need to memorize the full name. I will only memorize the short form only. MIA, MSB, MICPA, SEMA, SCCA. And then I will find one alphabet from all these short form names to recognize the job for them. Okay, let's say MIA, I will recognize the I. I here is representing institute. Institute is referring to school. And what will be done by the school? Teaching law. Then exam law. So if you see the keyword latihan, pelajaran, dan peperiksaan, that means MIA. Why don't you need to memorize the rest? Because the question would ask us to write the full name of the institution. They won't ask us to write the roles and responsibilities in sentence by our own also. It will only come out in objective question. So what are you going to do is just need to recognize the key term, the key point only. And the second one, MSB, recognize the S here. S here representing standard. Standard means rules, guidelines. Okay, then the key terms for Malay regarding to standard will be piawaian, garisan, panduan. So when you look at the question, if they mention any key terms, garisan, panduan, piawaian, or any similar term that relating to the standard or rules or guidelines, then your answer will be MSB. And number 3, MICPA. Recognize the I also, referring to institute also. So also referring to school. And they will do the same lah. They do teaching, training, and exam. Then what's the difference between NIA? MICPA got 5 alphabets from the name. MIA only got 3 alphabets. That means it got extra alphabet. If it got extra alphabet, that means he need to do more work lah. Penyelidikan dan pembangunan. Okay. Then SIMA. SIMA use the M. M here is referring to management. Management accountant is not the difference between financial accountant and management accountant is financial accountant is the one who prepare all the reports, the APO, the PKK, the accounts, calculate all the value. But management accountant is not going to prepare the reports. They are going to take the reports prepared by financial accountant earlier to study. What's the root cause? What's the problem? Let's say if you find the sales is dropping, then management here, really example like this. Financial accountant is going to calculate the sales, the jualan. And the management accountant is the one to take last year and this year report and find out jualan is dropping. And he also will find out what is the reason why your jualan is dropping. And also find out what is the solution for it. Okay, so management accountant is not going to calculate and prepare the reports. They're going to find how to manage the company in a proper way, in a better way. Okay, that's the difference for additional information. Then management in Malay, we call it as pengurusan dan pentadbiran. So if you see any related or similar terms like the management, pengurusan, pentadbiran, then SIMA. Then SCCA, you can use the C here. C is representing club. Club dan persatuan. Maybe swimming club, your badminton club. Club will have members, right? Okay, then what will the club do? Will provide support to the member. So if you see any sokongan, ahli, these two keywords, the answer will be SCCA. Okay. Is it easier for you to remember? Yes, okay. Then before we end the session today, I promise you to let you take picture on the explanation of the format APO, right? To help you to memorize, right? Because you need to memorize, because you will have exam for it and you're going to use that format in future. And very soon. Okay, wait, let me find Okay, this is the format for and with the explanation. And seems like it's too lengthy, too troublesome for us to memorize, right? It's fine. I read every single explanation definition for the terms already, and that's a flow for us to follow to memorize the format. So it will be easier for us to understand than memorize. Okay, but I'm not, I can't, I cannot afford to explain every single thing again. But it's okay. I can explain you the rough idea how to memorize. We got two formats for report. We got two reports. APO, we call it as account perdagangan dan untung rugi, which is for us to calculate our untung bersih or rugi bersih to see whether we are earning profit or we are getting losses. But how you are going to get the profit or loss, just now we mentioned. What's the formula? Remember how we got the untung bersih when we did persamaan account table just now? We are going to take income, which is hasil, minus what? Minus expenses, which is belanja to get your untung bersih, right? Yes. It's just that we put the formula in the format in APO lah. So if you look at here, basically, we start by hasil. Minus the belanja. hasil again minus belanja. But why we got two hasil, two belanja? Because Apo, we can split the report into two parts. First part here are those related to your main business activity, means related to your product lah. So if you look at here, it's jualan your product, you sales your product, and you return your product, or you got product balance beginning of the period. Then you buy product, you return your product to supplier, and then the cost to transfer the product in. So seems that everything here is related to your product, right? So we call this part as account perdagangan. And the second part here, we call this as other operating costs. Maybe you need to pay rental fee for your shop. You need to pay salary to your accountants. Maybe you need to pay utility fee, or you got extra income. Maybe you got interest income from your saving. But these are not related to product, right? So we will keep it as a second part. We call it as account untuk rugi here. Okay, and that's all the brief explanation for Apple lah. Okay, you can try to take picture now. You can take picture, keep it as your master data, your own dictionary to memorize your Apple. Okay, done? Done. Okay, any question before we end the session? No. Then that's all for today. And if you still have any question, you can let me know in the class. Okay? Then see you in the class. Bye bye.